All right, happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We've got a full 15-game MLB slate. We're going to talk about every game, as always. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Absolutely free. Comment down below with your favorite play of the day. And join the Discord. It's absolutely free. Beautiful day. We went 2-1 on NFL preseason. Let's see. We went 1-1 in college. We went 4-1 in the MLB on picks I gave out. Plus, we hit a nice little close to plus 1,000 parlay last night. So very cool in the Discord. And people posted other plays as well to hit. So like I said, link is down below. I'll put it in the pinned comments, but completely free to join. Recap from yesterday. Like I said, we went 4-1. Ironically, we hit the first four. We were just missing the Brewers. It was tied 1-1. I'm literally typing in the chat, we just need the Brewers for the sweep. And then 30 seconds later, Giants just went nuts. So we'll take 4-1. Absolutely up 3.15 units. Had an outstanding Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So it's been pretty damn good. But let's talk a little bit about these games. Get this review done. I know the video's coming out a little later. First game on the card, Rockies and the Pirates. Rinse and repeat. No way in hell I'm paying like minus 380 for the Pirates, even with Skeens on the mound. You got McKay Brown on the other side. This guy skipped AAA. So he's gone A-ball to AA straight to the majors. Probably going to get shelled. Pirates are scoring a ton of runs, but they're still the Pittsburgh Pirates. So no way in hell I'm taking this number. It would be Rockies or nothing, but I'm not touching it. Cardinals and the Rays. Matthew Liberatore going up against Ryan Pepio. Now, I don't like the spot for the Cardinals. A couple of reasons. They had to sit in Tampa Bay on a day off. That's just not great for them, whereas the Rays get to stay at home. If we look at Pepio, he's won 3 of his last 4 games in the last game of a series. Now, we look at Liberatore. If we want to find some bright spots, he's won his last 2 away games in the last game of a series, but just can't really get behind this Cardinals team. They are 0-7. On the road in the last game of a series versus a right-handed starter. Haven't gotten a win this season. 2-9 overall on the road in the last game of a series. So it is a Rays spot for me. Don't really want to pay the minus 130, minus 135. So we're going to take both teams to score 2 and the Rays to win. We can get that up to plus 135. Wind is going to be blowing out at about 13 miles an hour. So home runs are going to be up 40%, runs up 17%. Does make me a little nervous with Pepio. It does have a 1.58 home runs per 9, whereas Liberatore is right at, he's at 0.96. But I don't trust Liberatore. Just don't trust him. His splits against lefties are terrible. 500 average against lefties last 30 days, 232 against righties. Pepio's been good against lefties, 250 to righties, which I don't necessarily love, but it is a Rays spot for me in this spot. So we're going to take the Rays, and both teams have scored 2. Next game is going to be the Astros and the Orioles. We were on the Orioles team total over 4.5 yesterday. That was sweat free. This one we get Spencer Arrighetti going up against Trevor Rogers. At some point, the Trevor Rogers train is going to stall. That said, Astros against a lefty in the last game of a series on the road are 2-3. So there is a small angle there. I don't trust Arrighetti whatsoever. That said, 9 runs, I would lean towards the under, but the wind's blowing out. It would be Orioles team total for me. But man, I just feel like Trevor Rogers is going to collapse at some point. But this O's team is hitting. They're hitting righties really well. So it would be the Orioles or nothing for me. I just feel like Trevor Rogers living on the edge, almost a 50% hard hit percentage. Like you're going to get blasted eventually. So, but against Arrighetti, high scoring affair. Like I said, Orioles team total over would be the only ways I would play that. Nationals and the Phillies. This is going to be Jake Irvin going up against Ranger Suarez. Nationals 4-10 on the road when they're facing a left-handed starter, so that's not good. But Jake Irvin is 8-6 on the road, 3-1 in the last game of a series. He hasn't been pitching well. I don't have any confidence in him. But when we look at Ranger Suarez at home in the last game of a series, he is an abysmal 0-4. So over 9.5. I loved that play yesterday. It ended up cashing for us 6-4 Phillies. Side note, play I'd put in the Discord, it was a 0-0 game, and you could get Phillies race to 4 on DraftKings for plus 100. I placed it the next inning, they score 5. So that was one of the sweatest free bets ever. But I could see the Nationals getting to Ranger Suarez. Now, they haven't been hitting lefties whatsoever over the last 2 weeks, but Suarez had a great last game. He's been awful the starts before that. His splits aren't amazing here. But man, I can't get behind Jake Irvin. That's just not. This guy's given up 6 earned runs in back-to-back starts, and this Phillies team is heating up like crazy. This is the hottest team over the past week, second hottest team over the past 2 weeks. Just crushing it with runners in scoring position. They're hitting .431 this week with runners in scoring position, .321 over the past 2 weeks. Pitch mix looks awful for Irvin. It would be over 9.5, but it's just, call it that spider sense is tingling here to just completely fade this game. Everything inside me says the Nationals are very, very, very live in this spot. So can't get behind it here. Nationals on the run line maybe, but just it's Jake Irvin, dude. I can't do it. All right, next game. This would be the Mets and the Braves. We had the Mets. So we gave out a 3-leg parlay last night. And it was both teams to score 2 and win. And it came down to the Mets. And my God, that was beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful to watch. This one, we get David Peterson against Bryce Elder. We just saw this matchup. And the Braves absolutely smacked David Peterson. And the Mets could not hit Bryce Elder. Probably the greatest start of his career. Went into the 7th inning. If he does that again, tip the cap. Give me the Mets on the money line. Both teams to score 2. I'll run it back. I like this spot. I think the Mets are able to get a little bit off Peterson. There is some rain chance in this game, but we do have the wind blowing out. We have an over-under of 9 for a reason. So I like any way you want to dice this. If you don't trust Peterson, Mets team total over, Mets race to X. I mean, I love this spot for the Mets. I will put a couple of bets on this game, to be honest, but we're going to take the Mets on the money line and both teams to score 2. That gets us to plus 130 here in this spot. And by the way, we're doing half a unit on every play today just because it's Sunday. We've had a wonderful past couple days. I'm not going to piss it away due to Sunday variance. So that's where I'm at here. But Bryce Elder, last 30 days, 306 to lefties, 273 to righties, elevated hard hit percentage, 316 of runners in scoring position. He's got a 7.5 ERA at home. I can't pass it up here. Next game is going to be the Royals and the Tigers. It's going to be Lugo against Flaherty. Man, I really want to find a way to get to the Royals here, but I just can't. Flaherty 6-8 at home, but Seth Lugo on the road in divisional games this season, 0-3. However, the Royals are 4-1 on the road in the last game of a divisional game. But man, the Tigers are red hot. Flaherty's starting to look a little bit better, and Lugo's just not somebody I can trust. His pitch mix looks awful today. That said, everything inside me says take the Royals here. I have it a very, very tight game. I've got it 4-4 essentially. So the over 8.5 is live, but I just don't think I'll ultimately be able to get there. Wind is going to be blowing out to left field just a little bit here. But it's too much of a coin flippy game, and the Tigers have been hot, but it's just too much price to pay for this Tigers team right now. So I'm going to fade it. Blue Jays and the Marlins. This game got crazy. Kevin Gausman going up against Yuri Perez. I would love to take the Marlins here. Marlins at home as a dog on Sunday just feels like a great spot with Yuri Perez on the bump. Blue Jays have been regressing quite a bit. This is a bottom 3 team over the last week against righties, bottom 5 over the last 2 weeks. I think Yuri Perez comes out and deals. If this over-under were 8, I'd be inclined to take the under. Gausman's been pretty good on the road. Splits last 30 days, outstanding. First 5 under for me, and a nerfy is how I like this game. But ultimately, I do think the Marlins end up squeaking out a win. I mean, they probably should have won yesterday, but they did not. Well, I won't say that. They were down 4-0 and made a hell of a comeback in the 7th inning and then tied it in the 9th. Next game is going to be the Twins and the White Sox. Going to be Taj Bradley going up against Yandris Gomez. Taj Bradley last start was on July 23rd, so he's making his debut with the Twins today. If we look at the White Sox, they are pretty heavy to the over. 6-4 to the over at home on Sundays. 2-0 with Gomez on the bump. We have the wind blowing straight out to center at like 15 miles an hour. Taj Bradley has not looked good in his rehab starts. I don't like this spot for him. Pitch mix looks terrible. White Sox last 30 days, 3rd hitting the fastball. They are 6th hitting the sinker. two pitches that Taj Bradley relies heavily on. That said, I expect the Twins to get to Gomez. So give me over 9 as a best bet here in the Windy City. So I love the spot here. Two bullpens that suck, two starting pitchers that I don't trust. So let's just take the over and just watch them bash each other. It's kind of sick that we're taking it over with these two teams, but I think it's just a little too good of a spot to pass up here, in my opinion. So that is where I'm going to go. Next game is going to be the Giants and the Brewers. Giants absolutely opened up a can of whoop ass. Now, fastball Freddie pitched great, but man, he's got to go longer than 5 innings. Today you get Robbie Ray going up against Brandon Woodruff. Tough game, man. Robbie Ray 10-3 on the road, 5-1 on the road in the last game of a series. Going up against Woodruff, we get an elevated over-under that makes 0 sense to me, but I do think the roof's going to be open and the wind's going to be blowing out. This will be a first 5 under for me. That is the only way I would end up playing this. I mean, an over-under of 9 seems a little absurd to me, but like I said, first 5. This was one I almost put on the card, but it's just too juice. But you can get it under 6 for minus 145 on DraftKings. Like, it's pretty juicy, but yeah, that might be a dance partner to something, or just straight bet it. But I just don't see these teams. Like, Woodruff's been pitching really well. Robbie Ray's pitching pretty well. Splits look great. It just seems super high. It's so fishy that it kind of weirds me out. Ultimately, you're getting too much value here to take the Brewers. It would be the Brewers at home. They're the better team, and they're the underdog. Next game is going to be the Guardians and the Rangers. Rangers absolutely opened up a can of whoop ass. I said Rangers first 5 was a pretty strong lean for me yesterday. My God, that was stupid sweat free. Gavin Williams going up against Merrill Kelly. Gavin Williams 5-7 on the road this season, but he has won his last 2 games. Merrill Kelly, I don't think he's fantastic. I've never been a huge Merrill Kelly fan, and his pitch mix looks pretty bad here today. Guardians first hitting the fastball, first hitting the cutter. That is about 60% of what he throws, and his splits against lefties have been bad last 30 days. 281 average to lefties, 154 to righties, elevated hard hit percentage. But man, this Guardians team against right-handed starters, 29th in baseball over the last 2 weeks and over the past week. Can't get done with runners in scoring position. Hitting 198 over the past 2 weeks, 178 over the past week. But the only way I see this is Guardians here. It's Guardians or nothing for me in this spot. I just can't get behind Merrill Kelly, and it's just a system play to back a team that got destroyed the day before. Just typically works out. So give me the Guardians here in this spot. Cubbies and the Angels at 407. It's going to be Jameson Taillon going up against Kyle Hendricks. Not the greatest pitching matchup. We're seeing the Cubs sticks really start to come to life here. So give me the over in this one. I think the Angels are able to kind of open it up offensively despite their recent struggles. Wind blowing out once again here, 86 degrees, nice warm day. I mean, we saw the Cubs cover this line by themselves yesterday, so love the over in this spot. Don't trust Jameson Taillon, especially on the road where he's got a 5.5 ERA, and I definitely don't trust Kyle Hendricks and his 4.5 ERA. So give me the over. 2 teams with losing records on Sunday. Angels are 4-7. Cubs are 4-6. So someone's going to win this game. Most likely the Cubs, but just give me the over. And next game is going to be the Dodgers and the Padres. This has been an interesting series. We've seen the Padres really heat up. They've won 5 in a row. Dodgers have lost the first 2 games. You get Yamamoto going up against Nick Pivetta here in this spot at Petco Park, where the wind's basically going to be blowing left to right at about 9 to 10 miles an hour. It's going to be ideal day, 75 degrees. You're getting a amazing price to take the Dodgers, but the Padres are hot as hell. And Pivetta's been pretty good at this park. It's lean Padres for me. If you're a guy that likes to avoid the sweep, take the Dodgers. But we've seen them go on 3, 4, 5 game losing streaks. This Dodgers team's, it's an interesting team. The dichotomy of this team is quite interesting. But it'd be Padres for me. Reds and the D-backs going to be Zach Gallen going up against Brady Singer. Now, if you're not aware, the Reds are the only team in the majors to have not gotten swept. The interesting thing is they have a losing record in series. I think they're like 17, 20, and 2, maybe something like that. So if they were to keep this up, they would be the first team in history to not lose a series, but not win the overall series against teams. So Singer's been pitching really well. Tip the cap to him. I still don't trust him. Gallen has been a dumpster fire at home. I think the Reds win this, but you got two guys with 5.5 ERAs. So Singer's 5.55 on the road. Gallen's 5.50 at home. We haven't seen the Reds open up offensively, but they're due. So give me the over 9 in this one. Lean Reds on the money line. Last game is going to be Sunday Night Baseball, Red Sox and the Yankees. Going to be Dustin May going up against Carlos Rodon. I mean, I get it's Rodon on the bump, and the Red Sox have not been hitting lefties, but no way I'm paying this price. I mean, Dustin May is awful. But that said, this Red Sox team's on fire. They've won 3 straight, 6-4 in their last 10. Yankees are just, they got to fire Boone. Boone is the worst manager ever. This is a spot where you're getting value to take the Red Sox at like +1.5, but we'll see how the day goes. I'll probably lay off of this game unless it's just been a really good day and we want to just throw a little sprinkle on something for some action, but Yankees probably win, but I can't pay this price for them. All right, let's get into our best bets. Get you guys on your way. Appreciate you tuning in to the channel. So best bets for today, we've got 5 of them. Like I said, we're going to take the Rays on the money line and both teams to score 2. We're going to take the Mets on the money line, both teams to score 2. We're going to take the Reds and the D-backs over 9. We're going to take the Cubs and the Angels over 9.5 and the Twins and the White Sox over 9. So a lot of overs, which generally it's kind of mixed. It's kind of 50-50 on Sundays. So there was some unders I wanted to look at, but the weather just wasn't conducive to taking an under. So all of these, I think we're in good spots here. So like I said, it's Sunday. We're doing half a unit. So if we go 3-2, fantastic. We've got 2+ money plays on there. So 3-2 day would be wonderful to wrap up the week. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Like I said, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, come hang out in our community. So have a great Sunday, everybody.